Taylor Vitany, and welcome to Living in Shelby Township. We are here in Shelby Township at Sweetwater's, and here is Karen, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what's going on today here at Sweetwater's for the art exhibit type thing. Let's get a little insight on what's going on here.
Well, I'm pretty excited about it. We're doing, I'm doing the acrylic pouring, which is a different kind of technique, and I brought a bunch of samples, and I'm actually going to demonstrate a lot of different ways to do the pouring technique.
I gotcha. I saw some of the samples that you had over there, and they looked awesome. They looked very glossy, very professional. How long have you been doing this for?
Well, I've been an artist all my life.
Okay. Did you always start out with acrylic? Have you done any kind of other
I started out
art?
with acrylics, and then I became a watercolorist.
Wow.
And mixed media, and now I'm doing the acrylic pouring.
That's amazing. What is your favorite thing about doing this kind of art?
I think it's the movement of the paint, which is what attracted me to watercolors, because it's like swimming, it's like being in a pool and skinny dipping.
Right, it's like no matter if you're doing an abstract piece or an actual portrait of something, it always feels very fluid,
Very fluid,
That's
and
awesome.
that's what this is, because the the paint actually flows and you're manipulating it into a composition.
Right, so it doesn't look so much like anything in particular, it's just kind of a beautiful, wavy type of thing that people can put up in their house in any kind of room to match. That's so cool. So what's going on today here in Sweetwater?
Okay, today at Sweetwater's is a great promoter of our art group, which is Shelby Fine Arts Association. And they actually display our artwork, and we put it in here, and they sell it for us.
So they do sell it here then? Oh, yes. That's cool. All right.
So they're a very big supporter.
Is there anywhere else that sells your art?
Well, we do it at the fairs and other places, yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
A couple of shops where we sell on consignments.
Okay, so people can buy your art today then from over here, right?
Yes, I've got artwork here that's for sale right now, and I also have a website. So,
what's your website?
They can go to splashes-of-watercolor.com.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Karen. I am so excited to get my, hands dirty and see what this is
I
all about.
appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
Are you interested in taking care of a reptile or amphibian at home, but not sure how to take care of them? Why not adopt one at our Burgess Shadbush Nature Center? One-year adoptions are $25 for a small animal and $50 for a large animal. You'll get an adoption certificate, and the adoption fee will help cover vet care and expenses for your animal. You're encouraged to come in regularly to take care of your animal. For more information, you can call the Burgess Shadbush Nature Center at 586-323-2478 or contact them at naturecenter@shelbytwp.org. You can visit the Nature Center yourself at 4101 Riverbends Drive, off of the Ryan Road entrance of Riverbends Park.
Hi, I'm out here at Maystecker Park. It's my first pit stop on today's ride. I left from my home at 24 in Shaner on my bike, and today I'm heading out to Shelby Road. I'm going to go north. Sometimes I go into Stony Creek Metro Park, but today I'm just going to take the Stony to DeQuinder Trail and come down to Quinder. I'm going to hook back up on our new sidewalks on 24 Mile Road and make it a big loop right from my home. The beauty of this route is I don't have to haul my bike in my car and get to the trail. I can hit the Macomb Orchard Trail or Stony Creek Park from my home, and that's what we are trying to do with the Sidewalk Committee and Parks and Rec here in the township. We'd love to connect all of you right from your homes to our beautiful parks, trails, restaurants, shopping center via bicycle or walking.
Hi everyone, and thank you for joining us. This year's Shelby Township Art Fair is going to be virtual. Because of COVID, we couldn't have it as normal, so we will be doing it online, but that means that you'll be able to browse artists, shop their collections, and you can even vote for the People's Choice Award. Let's take a look deeper into the artists.
Always felt the need to be making something, working with my hands, and just kind of doing the types of things I don't typically get at work, like being able to work with my hands and actually create things that are kind of unique. Well, my craft actually kind of stemmed from like a project that I was working on in the bedroom. I basically put in some like old ceiling beams. I got some barn wood from a barn that actually came down in Midland, Michigan that was roughly over 100 years old. After I did the ceiling beams, essentially kind of wanted little accent pieces that kind of showcase the wood as well, because I had some really unique pieces. So I basically kind of like put together the iron pipe with like the old barn wood on top of it, and then did some like LED backlighting, and then there's like a frontal accent with like the Edison bulbs. And so basically kind of the process that I go through relative to setting up some of these wall sconces, wall lights, is basically first like wood selection. I'll go through and basically find a pretty unique piece of wood. This is probably a little bit better example of kind of like some wood that's got a lot of character. Sometimes I'll actually go through and I'll actually do some grinding on the wood just to kind of like change up the ends and kind of like add a little bit more like uniqueness to the wood, make it a little bit more kind of like worn and weathered and all that. But generally the intent is to have some of the features, because these are like backlit wall lights, have some of the features actually carry some of that light through. And then basically, so we construct the frame, and then I'll mount the wood to the actual frame. Then it gets into the point of actually going through, doing the wiring, adding plugs, adding dimmer switches, adding LED light strips to the back, making sure everything's secure, wired correctly, use the appropriate lamp wire, but then adding kind of like the actual like bulb holders. And then basically you'll get into like what the final product looks like. Everything's kind of like secured and put in place, and you have the controls for the LED, you have like the dimmer switch for the Edison bulb. But then basically you get into essentially the overall look. This is kind of a finished lamp. Just kind of like a overall different sort of like a piece of artwork. It's kind of like functional, but it's got a lot of history to it, especially if you're here in Michigan. Just kind of something a little bit unique and different, but that it has some kind of functionality just because you can do different like lighting moods and different styles, and kind of it's a piece of art on the wall, but it's also like kind of like a sconce as well. So just
here we have Greg Stone. Now what sets Greg apart from other painters is that Greg uses really unique objects for his canvas for acrylic painting. Let's take a look.
I do a lot of paintings using acrylic paint. I use a canvas, old boards. I just got back from the Upper Peninsula, brought back some flat rocks that I've been painting on. So anything I can really get my hands on. Well, this is one of the rocks like I brought back from the Upper Peninsula. And what I'm doing is I'm looking at the rock and deciding what I want to paint on it that would complement the rock, or the rock would complement the picture, either way. There's a ridge right here, and what I've done is I painted a small little fox right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some snow on here. So he's actually going to be behind the rock, which is covered with the snow. And these go so fast, I can paint these in a matter of 20-25 minutes. That we'll be driving along like Route 2 or someplace, and I'm looking at the trees and the lakes and everything. And I'm not seeing trees and lakes. What I'm seeing is an Indian canoe coming across the lake. And what I do is I paint that. I paint the things that I know, I paint the things that I like. I grew up in Romeo in the country, so a lot of creeks, a lot of fields, a lot of old buildings, old cars. I just enjoy doing it. If I see an old car or old truck that's all rusted with the wheels falling off in a field or something, that's not trash to me, that's beautiful. That's something I would stop and take a picture of and really enjoy painting it.
Next is Cindy Skelton. Cindy is taking quilting to a whole new level. So let's see what this quilting engineer has to offer.
To be a quilting engineer means to enjoy and love sewing and quilting, and also to have the knowledge and the idea that using technology is comfortable for you. And my machine right here is a Bernina long arm robotic quilting machine. When I get a quilt from a customer, the first thing I have to do is measure it and see how it's going to fit on my frame. And then I have to choose the pattern that would be best suited for the particular quilt that the customer has given me. In this particular case, I've got a nautical themed quilt. So I chose a wave pattern. It looks like water flowing through. My robotic quilting machine here will take it from there. And what I'm going to do now is, once I get everything all set up, what I'm going to do here is show you how the machine works pretty much by itself once I program in the actual pattern that I'm interested in using. And here it goes. So the machine operates very much like a numerical control machine. It has XY coordinates that the pattern there on the screen, when I decide how big and what size pattern and what type of pattern I'm going to have on the quilt, the machine takes over and stitches out the exact pattern that shows on the machine. The products I'm going to be selling at the virtual art fair include some tote bags that I have embroidered and quilted, various sizes. The idea that you can order a long arm quilting service from me, and also a finished custom quilt that either can be ordered to your specifications or one that's already done. What I'm hoping that a customer takes away from one of my quilts from the virtual art fair is the idea of quality. That what they're getting is a quality item that they will keep and possibly treasure for years to come.
Next up is Linda Plumhoff. Linda's friend was diagnosed with breast cancer, so Linda took her bracelet making skills and honed in on making bracelets to raise money for cancer awareness.
So in April of 2007, I hosted a fundraiser for a friend and neighbor. Her name was Sharon Winter, who had been diagnosed with breast cancer. The fundraiser was held right here at Shelby Lanes, and the community came together. 6 of these pink breast cancer awareness bracelets were raffle prizes. Those 6 bracelets have turned into many, many, many bracelets. I attend different fundraising events where I donate $5 back from every $15 bracelet that is sold. Everyone knows that the pink ribbon represents breast cancer, but did you know that blue is for colon and purple is for Alzheimer's and yellow is for suicide awareness? And so every bracelet has an awareness ribbon that represents a cause. I have a list of all the causes, and then I go to different fundraising events, whether it's a zoo walk or a gala or 5K at Stony Creek. I set up my table and again, make a donation back to the organization so they can continue their good works. The Pink Fund is a wonderful organization. You know, Molly McDonald has supported me since day one. Angel of Grace awareness bracelets are typically the same design. There are a few different, like the peace sign does not have an awareness ribbon, as peace is the awareness. There's also one that has a tree of life. There's one that has a cat or a dog on it, because we do fundraising for Humane Society and different rescues. All the bracelets do come sized, small, medium, and large, 6 to 7 inches, 7 to 8 is a medium, 8 to 9 is a large. Angel of Grace awareness bracelet is and I are passionate and committed to making a difference in our community through our fundraising efforts, one bracelet at a time.
And finally, we have Melanie Nickel. Melanie has been making jewelry for years now, so let's take a look at some of her jewelry creations.
I make jewelry for women, and it involves micro crochet and macrame techniques along with knotting, and I incorporate glass beads and Swarovski crystals along with handmade components from other artisans that I find. I began making jewelry about 20 years ago, and I grew up in the 70s and 80s where friendship bracelets and crochet and all these handmade techniques were very important to me, and I wanted to incorporate that in the jewelry I make today. I'm using a fine crochet hook to do a technique called Turkish Crochet, and it's linking all the beads together to make a wrap bracelet. And then this part of it is going to be a chain stitch, also a type of crochet basic stitch that links the beads together. A lot of people see jewelry at shows and they're like, oh, more jewelry, but each one of us does something different. There might be metalsmiths that incorporate hand-cut stones. I do like a very rustic technique that I can mix different styles of macrame and crochet in it, and the beads look different. So I hope that people that shop with me see that it's different than something they may find in a store.
Wow, so much talent here in Shelby Township. Thanks so much for watching this edition of Living in Shelby Township. From the Shelby Township Virtual Art Fair, I'm Taylor Vitany, and we'll see you next time.